5 years ago, I began making videos at Porsche Center Langley for their online marketing and social media. In my spare time, I started a vlog to get better at making videos and learning as much as I could about it, while just kind of having fun with it and seeing my friends doing stuff at home and going on adventures. In spring of 2018, I was looking at getting a project car, and of course Porsches were on my list, but I had stumbled upon the GC8 on Marketplace listed for I think $7,000. I was always curious about it, and this was number 2 on my JDM all-time must-haves list, so I had to go and see it. And it was a little rough. Aside from having the wrong seats on the interior, a weird shifter, and like a really bad smell inside, the car was running good. It had mismatched fender, the front bumper was barely attached, had a huge scuff on it, and was, it wasn't awesome. And then the seller took me for a ride in the car, and I was hooked.
Cool shop. This thing's crazy.
Over the next week, I went back and forth with the seller, and then eventually we settled on a deal at $5,500, and I brought the GC8, which I had named Fuji, back to the garage. Almost immediately, I began working on the car as much as I could just to make whatever improvements I could afford and would just make the car a better place to be. I had to fix some wheel bearings, I had to re the front brakes, including new calipers and rebuilding one of them. I also had to switch the rears to the proper 2-pot calipers, and then I eventually wanted to smooth out the body and get it all one color after getting really sick of all the old corroded gray paint. So in midsummer 2018, I hatched my first real harebrained scheme on the channel by getting the car in the garage, prepping the entire thing. I finished sanding all the bodywork that I had done over the last few weeks before, and eventually I had sprayed the car all one color with 10 cans of Duplicolor black primer.
It's 3:30 a.m. Car's ready for cars and coffee in 5 hours. I'm actually not as tired as I thought I would be.
I was elated to see the car all one color sitting on the ground ready to drive. I even did the fancy snap transition. Over the next year and a half, I kept driving the car, taking on the maintenance, improving little things wherever I could afford, and just enjoying it as much as possible. I added a Sparco steering wheel and an NRG quick release hub. I got some GR STI seats from Danny at the Salvage Guys and installed those, and then I found a set of Motegi MR139s and Yokohamas. Seeing the car on rally style wheels really changed the way that I had thought about putting it together. I'd always envisioned a low, cool looking GC8, but after seeing it on these wheels, I decided to take it another direction. I began the process of respraying the wheels gold and eventually turning my sights to the car and coming up with a 935 Porsche Interscope Racing inspired livery in the token red, orange, and pink. I spent a good part of a week laying down stripes, putting on decals, and just making the car a little bit more interesting to look at and really giving it a personality. Basically for 2021 and into 2022, the car was actually in storage for a little while at my buddy Tom's place. And I eventually got it back to the house, put some fog lights on it, and decided that I wanted to go rallycross racing with it. So I hatched a plan and got to work. Did things like modified the rear trailing arms, I put in Forester suspension, I picked up a set of AO53 gravel tires and Method race wheels, did a bunch of prep to the car, did a bunch of maintenance, and got it ready, and then eventually in April of 2022, I hit the dirt for the first time, legitimately, in the SBRCC Rallycross series. To say Rallycross is a good time would be a horrific understatement. It was an incredible experience, and honestly, I can't wait until I can get out the next time. After Rallycross began my Power Tour prep on the Mustang, and it took basically all my time throughout the summer, going on Power Tour and then work, and everything kind of got in the way, and basically I just kind of drove the car as a commuter over the winter. All right, and that brings us to basically now. The car has been sitting out front for probably the last half a year. During my time commuting in the car before I had the GTI, it actually started burning coolant due to a head gasket issue. It's now bubbling every time I start it. The motor is tired, you know, who knows what the turbo is doing, and everything probably just needs to be gone over and read with better parts, better stuff in general. I don't know where that motor came from. It was a swap from the original. When I bought the car, it was already in there. It ran, it didn't smoke, it was good. It pulls hard, like still pulls hard and everything, still runs good, it just gets noisy, burns coolant. It's not a great situation. If I were to put any more power in that car, the transmission would explode, the motor would just basically carry itself, and we'd be without a GC8 that's running. Which is what we're gonna do anyways. Why? Because sitting behind me, I have an IAG 2.5 closed deck motor. My buddy Danny at the Salvage Guys had this on his listings a few months ago in the spring, early spring, and I hit him up. I said, let's deal with the motor. Guys, if you're looking for motor swaps, anything like that, late model, exotic, he's probably got it. Go hit up his site, hit up his listings on Facebook. Danny's the guy to go to. He had this IAG 2.5 closed deck build that came out of a car after 4,000 kilometers on a swap. Unfortunately, the kid that swapped it put the car into a ditch, and it put the timing cover of the motor into the cross member of the car, and it stopped the valve train from moving, which made a piston and a valve touch. Danny wanted to be able to sell the motor, so he sent it out to Boost Barn out here in the Lower Mainland. They went through the motor, checked everything out, they signed off, said that it's good. They rebuilt the heads, put it all back together, new timing belt, new heads, new valve train, everything's cleaned up. This motor is ready to go. So this thing was fully built when it was swapped into a 2004 WRX. And they had gone through everything. It's got a whole new bottom end. Again, it's an IAG closed deck. It's got new pistons, rod. Everything in the motor is basically new, 4,000, 5,000 K on it. And the timing belt has been done, sprockets, all that stuff is brand new. It's got some nice Killer B parts underneath. It's got a Killer B baffled oil pan. Killer B equal length header, which I'm actually gonna get rid of because I don't like the sound of equal length headers. Don't know if it's gonna affect our Garrett turbo, which is hanging on the back of this thing. I haven't actually looked up the number. I don't know the actual model of the turbo. Somebody will be able to comment below and tell me, I'm sure. I'm pretty ignorant to this thing. I'm not an encyclopedia with parts. I just know it's pretty big. It's like 3 fingers of boost going into the intercooler big. And nice big Garrett turbo on it. It's got a big TL blow-off valve. Sorry, not blow-off valve, TL wastegate. It's got radium fuel rails hiding under here, which also have a flex fuel sensor, which is in the box over there, which I will probably not run flex fuel. I'm probably gonna run it strictly on like 94. It does have an AC compressor, which seems to be in good shape, but I am gonna delete that because the car doesn't have AC anyways. So we're just gonna get rid of that. It's got like Cobb wideband O2s. It's got an IAG throttle position sensor, Cobb 3-port boost controller. This thing's gonna be solid. Well guys, that's the lowdown on the motor. I'm super excited to get it in the car, but I'm trying my best to just be patient and do this all properly. Trying to figure out, should I go terminated harness, standalone ECU, how much am I gonna strip out of the car, how big am I gonna go with the cage? I just want it to be sort of a hot-rodded Subaru that I can take wherever I want to, throw the gravel tires on, go hit rallycross, throw the street tires on, go to the track, lower it if I want to, raise it if I want to. Kind of want it to be a multi-purpose Swiss Army knife, all-wheel drive, just battle machine. I don't know how I'm gonna do that yet, but we're gonna do it together. You'll be along every step of the way. Every time I'm doing something with it, I'm picking this up. Anyway guys, this is gonna do it for the episode. I know this is a short, weird one, but it was kind of fun to look back at the whole kind of history with the car. It wasn't the full thing. I've left out some things for, you know, just the sake of it's boring. Some of it doesn't need to really go in the video. Going from here, it's gonna be really, really fun. The car's gonna be super fast and super exciting. I cannot wait until we're doing like 4-wheel donuts in the dirt with it. So thank you guys for watching Days Off. I really appreciate you stopping by the shop again. Do me a favor, please subscribe to my videos. Please share this with your friends. I would love to see 1,000 subscribers by the time summer hits.
I don't usually ask for this. I try not to take it too seriously, but I have some plans for things coming that I really want to share with more people. So if you could do your best to share this video and hit the thumbs up, do all that good stuff, maybe comment on it. I really appreciate it. Go out on fun adventures, go drive across the country, do cool motor swaps, tinker with your car, or you know what? Sit around and just relax and enjoy life. Doesn't really matter. I will see you on the road. Have a good one.